So welcome everyone, and you're welcome to the new video. So in this video I'll be actually covering the recap for the week that just closed right now. So there was lots of crazy volatility in the market and lots of action. So a lot of this actually took out a lot of buyers this week, and I would actually want this video to be kind of brief. I've always said this, that I want the videos to be brief, the recap videos to be brief, but they haven't been brief at all. So I actually apologize for that, but most times they are long so that we could actually get a good view and a good idea of the market. It took me a very long time today to actually cook up everything before we start, because there was lots of things that happened in the week, but I'll try to make this as simple as possible, and also there will be a lot of things that I wouldn't be going into detail with, especially with some entries and all of that, because already I've covered them countless times. I don't even know if you guys are using them or not, because I don't see anything in the comment section if you guys are using it or not. But then I'll just keep it brief and just explain, and we push on and we go on. So without any further delay, during the start of the week, this was actually where the market opened, somewhere around this level, and actually with the market open, we got what I was actually expecting, that is a gap. But I was expecting the buy to actually happen from somewhere around this high due to the failure of this level to push price down lower. But then price did not hold, it held this high. But if you are getting your entries on this high and keeping your stop here, it's actually extremely wide. It's extremely wide. It's almost 300 pips. Yeah, that's a lot. It's extremely wide. But then with the when we go up to 1 hour time frame, I want us to take note of something on the 1 hour time frame first. Sorry, I went too far. Oh. Okay, let me try to open this up. Sorry, I went up to the daily time frame. So when we come up to the 1 hour time frame here, on the 1 hour time frame, we tend to notice this was actually one of the things that we can actually notice very well. You could see this other block here, full close above the other block, self liquidity, a bearish candle too, and all of that. So actually a very beautiful candle to actually look for your buys on, or to actually look for your buys on. Actually, yeah, that's basically it. So if you mark out that level now, and let's go back down to 15. If you mark out that level and you take your buys from the top of that candle, it should actually give you a very solid trade, actually, despite the fact that the stop will still be wide. But actually it's a very solid trade, and you could see what happened after. Price actually tapped into it twice and actually held up. The first tap was during the Asian session and still did that during London, which would be a good opportunity for those people that were yet to get in to actually get in, and actually delivered beautifully. Delivered over 1,000 pips here, over 8R from the entry. So it's actually a good one, and the tap during the London session gave additional confirmation with this particular entry model. Sweep below this low, coming back to try to respect it and bought up aggressively. If you're on 1 minute, you could easily get your entry here. This is a failure of price to use this guy to push down lower, to take out that low, and it was actually a very good one. So after that happened, price left this. You remember I said this breaker block right here was actually where some buyers would have been entering their trades from, but then price did as if it was not going to hold that level, and you can see with that last tap that gave a good push, we fell on top of it. It left this other block here, this FVG here, that gave us additional CISD entries, failure swings, depending on how you want to call it, and price actually tapped into it. You could easily put your stop here, because this is the first candle that formed the fair value gap. So it's actually a good point to put your stop right there, and actually a very solid trade because the stop is not too wide at this point. And you could see it was then after price tapped back into this FVG, you could see how it came back, because this whole format that pushed price down lower to pick from this FVG was actually a, let's say, an LTF sell kind of structure right there. And after price respected it came back, gave a full close above the high it had tapped initially to sell, and used it as a way to push up higher, and it was actually a good run. And during the New York session, we could also see what happened here. Some sellers were looking for their sales from this point, because you could easily see this lower time frame on that block here. Price broke that whole level, closed above it, break of structure on maybe 1 minute to 3 minutes, tapped into it and actually give us TP with it. It's actually a risky buy. That was why I indicated risky NY buy, but then the resistance level has been flipped, and then we have confirmation on top of the resistance. So it's actually giving you some type of confidence, even though at times price doesn't even respect that very much, but give a very solid trade down to the close of the day. So during the Asian Open for Tuesday, we could see what happened here. You could actually see this break of structure that price came back into and respected. Price gapped up into it, but then after it did that, price came back down and took out buyers that were buying from that level. And after it did that, actually you could easily see a full body close below that low that tapped into the entry initially, which in return will indicate that price is actually going to use that level as a way to flip to sell down lower. You could easily see the XAUUSD here, and also this fair value gap here, plus the figures and all of that sitting here. And you could see what happened after that happened. The full close below, price came back for that point and started to sell off. But then we even got additional confirmation towards the whole selling pressure. Probably, let's say you are not sure of this entry right here and you want to get more confirmation. If you should look at this point here, you could actually see this sharp doji candle, this rejection candle. I've covered this entry multiple times, but then you could see it here. And if price was actually going to hold to use this guy as a way to buy, you would notice that we'll get a full body close above it. So if you were on this sell initially and you see that full body close above it, you'll be getting, there's that high chance that this sell trade is not going to hold again. Price is actually going to use it to take out ATH again. But then instead of that, if you take 50% of that week, because probably price might fall back 50% before it pushes up. But in fact, in most cases that price actually come back to 50% before pushing up, it will first give a full body close above it, then come back to 50% and push up, so that it could actually shake out those buyers that bought early at the start of the candle. So price did not even do that. Instead, it just gave this wick above, came back to 50%, did as if it was going to respect, but actually it was coming back for this guy that swept liquidity here and gave a full body close below it. Once you see this, it means that this entry model has been inverted, because I know I've covered it a lot in bullish scenarios, but when you see something like this now happening, you should just know that it's actually going to use it in the opposite direction. And you can see what happened. It was after it did that. Can you see how your confirmation now even chopped down things down too and gave a very solid trade? And then I know some of you will be wondering, why did I target here? I targeted here because when you go up to 31 hour, this is the point whereby price broke out of this whole resistance here. Price broke out of it, and price did not actually give any tap back into it on the major time frame. So this will actually be a solid target, and you could easily take your partials at this low or at this place where we took the NY buy. But you could easily take your partials here and get your full TP here. It was actually a solid one. All of this happened during the Asian session, and when you come during, let's say, early London session, what you actually need to notice is, let's go down to 5 minutes. If you are looking for buys, yes, this is it. So if you were looking for buys at this point, you need to also take note of the confirmation that would actually give you the confidence to say you are looking for your buys at this point. And why did I mark out this sell here? If you notice what happened here, when we go down to like 1 minute, but I'm not going to go down so I could make this as swift as possible, but when we go down to like 1 minute, you would notice that after this fall here, price actually attempted to give a full fake out, like it wants to hold this level. But then that was what came about this whole bullish block here. But after it did that, full body close, that is actually on low time frame, that's actually a break of structure, and it closed below this low here, which indicates that there's that tendency that price could actually fail going up there's that high tendency that price will actually fail going up. And after I did that, you could easily mark out this block, mark your sales at this point, because if price was going to buy, price will actually close full body above this and do this. But you could easily take your sell from this point, even though it will be a bit risky, but easily take your sales from this point, and you could see what happened next. Price sold off aggressively. Price was actually very quiet, and this is Monday's low right here. Price was actually quite bearish last week, so most times most of the selling cases will actually keep on clicking. So keep on clicking. There's a reason why I said this, because let's look at something that happened here. And this happened about early Wednesday. It was a sell trade. So after price sold off aggressively, if you should go up to 15 minutes, price left this FVG on 15 minutes. Can you see it here? Price left this FVG on 15 minutes. So after price exhausted all its selling and went so low on Tuesday, we got some type of rejection. And I know if we should come back to this point, you could see that it's probably from a lower time frame level that was not mitigated initially, or that was mitigated, but then the rejection that you could see here was actually to take buyers to actually chip in their entries. And if you look at it here, the sharp rejection and tapped into the 15 minutes FVG, and after I did that, full body close below, price kept on trading below that full body close, and you could actually see this whole little gap that opened here, but then price was still trading below that full close, which is actually a figure swing or CISD, no matter, depending on how you want to call it. But then if you look at this point here, you could actually see some buyers might be looking for their buys at this point right here, because of the way last week was actually very bullish, that if you see a kind of setup like this, you would actually start to rush in to look for your buys. But then no, price actually held that same level, that same figure swing level, and sold off aggressively again with it. Sold off aggressively, delivered about 6 cents, 9 pips. Actually, those that were selling last week made lots of money, and sold off down to this target. And this, why did I pick out this target? I picked out this target because when this whole stuff happened as of early October, when with this push that came back down here, I was actually expecting price to actually hold up this level to push up, because already you could see what happened here. Whole selling level, go close above, tap, break of structure again. You need to see probably a tap here, but price failed to do that, and you could see what happened. We got this solid tap into that level. So that was actually brought about this whole rejection that pushed up higher. But then after price tapped into that, after price tapping the target, this all happened on Wednesday. So after price tapped that target now, it gave a very sharp rejection during the Asian session. Probably most of us couldn't have been able to take this trade at this point, but if you're able to catch it at this low, that's actually a good thing to do, because it actually give you a very solid move. So it bought up aggressively, came to that whole selling level. And if we should look at this a bit, let's look at this closely. You can actually see what happened here. Down, this was still during the Asian session, but then price left this fair value gap. After it came back towards that selling level, it actually gave a bearish reaction down, and after it did that, break of structure, FVG, you easily get your trade from the inversion, because if this FVG was going to hold, or if this whole level was going to fail, it would actually keep on selling from this point on, but give a full close above this high, giving an FVG. Most likely price will come back for 50% of this week, or the midpoint of the FVG, and you could see how price held this. And I was actually targeting the other end of this 15 minutes FVG, but then if you were on this trade, you could easily take your partial at 50%. And you could see price actually give 50% towards the close of the session, and left this break of structure here that it actually came back, picked into it, and delivered at least 50%, which is more than enough for partials. And let's say we come down during London now to take this trade, you could easily see an entry here after this break of structure, price left this beautiful other block and swap liquidity right here, came back for it actually beautifully, and ran here again. You could easily take 50% pass out at this point, because after price ran with this guy, it left another fair value gap. This is on 5 minutes time frame, and if you are taking 50% at this point, most likely this push that came back here could actually take you out at B, because most likely if you took 50% there already, you've placed your break even. It's actually advisable. That's actually how I trade. That's actually how I go about my own strategy. So after price gave this other block, this fair value gap, price just tapped into it and started selling off again. And after it sold off, I was actually expecting that it will held up this level, but then it tapped into it and gave a strong rejection back up. But then instead of price to hold up that level, you could easily see what happened next. Let's go up to 15 minutes. There's something I marked on 15 minutes that is not here. You could actually see, if you look at this, you could notice that from this bullish candle that rejected, if you are looking for your buys again, just like how I said initially, you wait for a full body close above it, which we did not get in this case. Price actually sold off to 50% again, and tried to trick buyers that it was going to hold up, but this candle just failed. And next thing, you can easily mark the 50% of this particular week, because we could see that we got the full candle close here. This was actually what I was saying. You need to wait to see the full candle close below it, because after the full candle close below it, price easily came back for the week and gave a full body close below it. After this full body close, now you can easily take 50% of this week now as your entry. And can you see what happened? Beautiful sell trade. Beautiful sell trade right here. This entry is actually very, very beautiful, because even if you are not even going to take immediately at this point, you could easily just mark out this level and wait for confirmation, and confirmation looks like this: XAUUSD failure swing, and picked it, and you could easily target this low. And you can see how when we are going up to 15 minutes, you just see those candles happening there. But if you come back down to 5 minutes, you easily see the structure happening here. So it's actually a very beautiful one. Actually a very beautiful man. And after price took out this low, this was during the New York session. After I did this, if you go up to 15 minutes, there's something I actually want to, yes, you could actually see this fair value gap here. If price was going to continue selling to take out this low here, price will do it from this fair value gap right here, to do it from this fair value gap here. But then price instead inverted this fair value gap and used it as an inversion as a way to push up higher, and you can see how it held up beautifully. I've been covering I've covered a lot about these inversions and how inversions with the fair value gaps, though. Yeah, I know you guys know what I mean. So it actually tapped into it, and after it tapped into it, gave us lower time frame confirmation here and started to buy. This was actually late towards the close of the day on Wednesday, and actually started to buy beautifully. And if you were not able to catch this trade at this point, you should come up to already. I don't know if you all can see this. This is one of our entry models that we use. This is actually like the head and shoulder pattern here, right here. Can you see? Full close above the neckline. Price still came back for the neckline as he wished to push up higher. And if I should go up to 15 minutes, I think there's something on 15 minutes. If I should go on to 15 minutes, you could easily see this fair value gap. Easily take your trade from the top of the fair value gap and leave your stop right there, and actually deliver beautifully. And where was I targeting with all of these trades? I was actually targeting the midpoint of this FVG here, because if I was actually looking for my sells, this sell that push price down, I was actually be looking at it from the midpoint of the FVG, or to get some kind of confirmation, which price did not even give us a chance to. But then if I'm targeting, I could actually easily target this point here because of the bearish POI here, or as high as the midpoint of this 5 minutes FVG here. And you can see how price actually gave a beautiful run up to that point, because after we got these additional entries during the Asian session, on Thursday. When we come back down to early New York, we still got additional entries with what happened here. The whole push that price came back to pick trades from this fair value gap here. There was the whole bearish trend line that was pushing price down, but then towards early London session, we could see the full break out of it, a full body close out of the trend line, a full break above this high, and price coming back to pick trades from this other block, which was actually a very beautiful setup. And down to, let's say, mid London session again, after the break of structure, price still came back for discounts, pick trades from the CISD failure swing level, and actually bought up and delivered this trade beautifully. So that's actually a very, very beautiful flow right there, a very beautiful flow right there. And after all of that happened, when we got to 50% of that candle, even if your target is beyond 50%, if you come to this point and you see all of this stuff happening here, you could easily know that there's that possibility that price is trying to hold that level as a way to sell off again. Because if you look at what happened here, it came here, started to get some type of consolidation, but you could easily see your low here, because you could see a break of structure, and price coming back to pick orders to push up higher. But then instead now, price gave a full body close below this low. And if you go up to 15 minutes, I know there's something right there. If you go up to 15 minutes, you could see this whole candle here. And you could see if you mark up 50%, price came back for 50%, full body close below it. Most likely now your entry is sitting here. That's how you get this entry very easy, because you could even see it here, right here, with this candle that formed up next. Because if you go back down to 5 minutes, you notice that there's that sweet break of structure that is sitting at that point. It's actually indicating that. Can you see it? Very beautiful right there. And next thing, with all of that, I could actually get some type of confirmation that price actually is telling us that it's not going to go higher, and you could easily target maybe these points, but at most with the whole trend line stuff that happened here on the lower time frame, you could easily target these points where it all started as your target. And you could see what happened. Beautiful trade, beautiful run, give almost 1,000 pips, about 875 down to Friday. So it was actually a beautiful sell-off, a very beautiful sell-off. So the last trade that actually I saw, but I didn't actually call this, I took this personally on my own account. Price came back down to this point whereby we had this inversion here, and also this level that initially I was actually looking for buys from it, but price just closed below, held it up after the whole confirmation that we got to the inversion. So after all of this sell-off happened, somewhere around let's say before New York session, price started to consolidate. I think it was in regards to the New York Open and CPI also, but this was our London low right here. Sorry about that. This was our London low right here. So if you mark out the London low here, just name it London low. If you should mark out London low right there, and we should go down to 5 minutes, you could easily see a beautiful trade here, whereby after price took out the London low, came back, break of structure, starting to indicate that this whole level is not going to push price down lower. So you could easily mark your entries at this point and easily target this neckline level here, and actually delivered very swiftly, sweet 650 pips right there. So it's actually a very, very good one. So basically this was like the whole summary of what happened last week. So I'm actually doing this, or I made this as fast as possible, so that you could actually use it as a way to maybe get yourself set if you did not get a chance to back test, but also as a way to, you could use it to add additions when you are back testing too. So that was actually a basic summary of almost all the beautiful entries and everything that happened in the course of last week. I think probably it might align with your strategy, or it may not align with your strategy, but basically that's how I approached some of these trades, or I would have approached some of them too that I did not actually take. So for this new week, what I'm actually expecting is that I'm actually expecting, if we get a full body close above this point here, there's an FVG here on 30 minutes, which we could actually see. Let's come up here. If we get the full close above this average, I expect price to actually push up a bit higher towards 4200 levels. But if this guy doesn't hold loss, I should expect price to go down a bit lower, probably to, let's go down to 15 minutes to see this properly, probably to somewhere, let me take this off, probably something like this, before we get the whole push up again. So basically that's how I expect the market to probably react to the new week, or it would actually even be as low as this, somewhere around here, and get our beautiful move. But I'm sure that it's going to actually give a very good confirmation before it happens. So if you are new to the channel, leave a sub. I do this always. I show you all my entries and everything, and I didn't do much of that in this video, but I've done that in a lot of videos, which the links are in the description, and also I'll be doing more of this next week again too. So if you are not part of the channel, sub to the channel, turn on your notification bells, join the Telegram channel, subscribe to my VIP, and I also offer mentorship too. So do all of that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all, and thanks for watching.